And now, coming to you from the Pensado Media Center, powered by Westlake Pro.
Hit records, TED Talks, and Silicon Valley. Our guest is doing it big. Cool live events, the judging begins, and a moment for Seth Perkins. You're at the place, it's Pensado's place.
Hey everybody, thanks for dropping by. Good to see you. Herb, how's your day? Well, no, I know.
Yeah. Ooh. Passport hell. You've been mixing a bunch here, bud.
That's what I do.
Yeah, it is, and you've been doing a lot of it, a lot of good stuff.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate
we should
that.
thank all them for all those requests and all that kind of stuff. Plenty to get to, should we?
Let's do it.
All right. Hey, everybody, thank you for joining us. Big thanks to 1500 or Nothing. They got some great stuff coming. The Blackbird Academy, as always, Westlake Pro, Avid, DTS, Lander, and Fab Factory. We told you about a lot of cool live events. Here we go. First up, Westlake Pro. They're having a very cool event featuring a very cool Shay Pope. Shay Pope is a big creative gun in the good music Kanye West camp. He's going to be demonstrating his creative approach, tools and tips utilized on all those hit records you know. Westlake Pro is having a giveaway and a sale, and all this is in their cool Atmos room. You want to go to this. It is at this link that you see below me, go.westlakepro.com/Shay Pope to sign up. So just go to this link, sign up right away. Next up in this busy slate of live events is Imstafesta Toronto. On October 14th, located at the Ryerson RTA School of Media, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., Imstafest will be going on. Dave and I will be there keynoting somewhere around noonish or thereabouts with Boy Wonder and other Toronto notables. Lots of cool giveaways. We're going to tell you about those in a second. And we want to take a chance to meet you, our Canadian friends, and everybody who's going to be around Imstafesta. Sign up right here, and it is free. Sign up right here. 1 week later, we'll be in New York City at AES on Friday the 20th. We're going to be interviewing the brilliant Greg Wells and giving more cool stuff away. That event starts at 10:15 a.m. All the information, again, is right here in this link, which is below me as well. And you can also stop by and see us at the Blackbird booth. We're going to be going through there periodically on each day. That's booth number 230. See Karma there. You got to go to Blackbird if you get a chance. It's great. Both Imstafest and AES are free, provided you use those links. And we got a lot of prizes. See, Chongor, what kind of stuff are we giving away?
We've got so many things. We got stuff from Isotope, Avid, Beat Skills, Fab Filter, Ceremony, Lander, just so many prizes.
That's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff.
So Santa and his reindeer, you can pick who, no, it's his elf, not his reindeer.
I'd rather be a reindeer than an elf.
So Santa, his elves, and his reindeers, they will be there early because they're usually not around till December, but we're going to show up around October.
Yeah.
So that would make us Halloween Santas of some sort. Something. It's going left.
You lost me.
Yeah, it's left.
Hello.
Prizes will be there. Speaking of prizes, now to the Indaba contest. Submissions are in, judging begins. DP, you got your judge hat ready?
Oh, you know it.
Yeah, you like this judging stuff.
I like judging, yeah.
Absolutely. And this record was really cool. The response from they tell me is really good.
I think they all are. This one's special.
Yeah, good stuff. So winners will be announced October 24th. Dave's going to be judging away. Cross your fingers. Hope you did your best. And there'll be some winners we'll be announcing pretty soon, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. The reality of the condition of life is that it intrudes, and it intrudes often without warning. And that happened with one of ours last week. We want to just take a moment and talk about Seth Perkins. Seth was a recent guest of ours. We just fell in love with him, and we lost him. Dave, what are your thoughts?
Well, he just had the largest personality of anybody I've met. He shined bright like a comet. Mm-hmm. You instantly fell in love with Seth, and you instantly felt like you'd been friends with him for 200 years.
Absolutely.
And exemplary work. Mm-hmm. Like we said on the show that he was on recently, he was an architect of a lot of what we consider the sound that's coming out of Atlanta now.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's going to be missed. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a void.
You know, he was a big old Kentucky boy. I'm a big old Kentucky boy, and I remember when we we hugged up. There was just this kind of bond. I think it was impossible for him not to change the air in the room in a good way.
Oh,
like
man.
he elevated you. In looking at some of the social stuff around him, one of the things that you see a lot is that he was a friend and mentor. So he was already into giving back. And what was weird is when you called me, Seth thought it was a big deal to present at the Pensado Wars, and I was putting together duos to go talk to you about, and I had written them down, and then you called. Look, I think the moral of the story is take a moment. We obviously feel bad for our brother, but there was another journey for him.
Yeah.
Job extraordinarily well done.
Of course, I can't speak for Seth, but it feels to me like he'd like to be remembered through his music. Go listen to his music, cry a little bit, scream a little bit, get chemically enhanced like he enjoyed doing. And have a good time.
Hippie. He was just a hippie, wasn't he?
Yeah. Larger than life itself.
Absolutely. And then remember that time is precious. Your loved ones and the people you care about are really precious. You just don't know, and find that moment in the balance of you being focused on your career and creativity, because you can't get that time back.
One other thought, shout out to Future. He summed up everything about Seth in a small paragraph, and it kind of shows you that the relationship he had with his clients was like no other engineer I've ever met. Good job, Future.
Journey home, brother. Our guest today, the adjectives go long. Brilliant, adventurous, spiritual, trailblazer, somebody we have great admiration for. Please enjoy our conversation with one half of the Interns. Boy, this boy's a talented dude.
Yeah.
Welcome and enjoy Cosine.
Cosine.
Dave and I are lucky guys. To our left sits some of the most talented people in audio, and oftentimes, and this is one of those, we get some people that are super talented and that we have enormous respect for where they're going and the ground they're breaking. Welcome one half of the Interns, but boy, it's a full half. The one, the only Cosine.
Hey,
what up, man?
Hey,
Good to see you.
I'm so happy to be here.
We're happy to have you, man. We're happy to have you. You know, when I've talked with you guys before, talk about the process when you guys work together and in the process when you're working by yourself. They're different, right?
Oh man, the process when Two and I work together in the studio is not fair. It's not fair.
So this was hoops.
Oh man, because Two has golden ears, man. He just knows what's cool. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to, radio records, stuff that people are gonna gravitate to. And when I'm working by myself,
right,
I'm trying to hear his voice in my head. It's almost like, what would Two say? You know what I mean?
Right.
I know what he'd say. Ass. Reviving an oldie but goodie.
It did, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm in there in the trenches, man.
But you're almost more musical in the duo, correct? In terms of playing
I'm the hands-on producer guy. I play keys, I play saxophone, I play drums, I program.
Wow.
And Two is Puff. Two's the Puff Daddy. Two comes in with the golden ears, and if it makes him dance and he doesn't spill his drink, he can catch a good bop to it, then it works.
Then it's
you know what I'm saying?
Then that's a record.
Sometimes I'll overproduce. I'm notorious for putting too much shit, and Two will be like, take that out, no, take that. There it is. There. That's it. Start it off like that.
Right.
So that always helps.
Which is sort of, that's Quincy Jones-esque, where there was somebody who was kind of a director. You know what I'm saying? And it was really production, and it was but one can't live without the other.
Oh yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. At this point, Two has instilled in me a lot of concepts, a lot of dope production concepts.
Right.
And the Interns, we have kind of created our own formula.
Yes, indeed.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily stick to it every time, but that's what allows me to go off and create and kind of be by myself and produce and so forth like that, because we kind of got a formula.
Right.
It's called Gourmet Ratchet.
It's called Gourmet Ratchet.
That's exactly what it's called.
Man, do you still have that SSL?
Of course.
Are you still at the same place we had Thanksgiving?
Absolutely.
Oh man,
Sherman
that was
Oaks.
such a great day. That was a great holiday.
I don't know why more people don't invite you over for dinner because
I had so much. What was the elder gentleman's name?
Oh, that was one of my grammar school best friends. His family came out. It was Mr. Curtis.
Mr. Curtis. Tell Mr.
Osborne,
Curtis I
his sister
said hello.
Tamika, Mrs. Curtis. Yeah, it was a perfect day.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
One of the things about you guys as a production unit and the Gourmet Ratchet sound and the kind of records you do, those records are authentically ratchet and gourmet in that it's food that a whole lot of people end up liking.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
It goes pop, it goes broad, it goes commercial with
yeah.
no sacrifice on cred and street and how it feels. That's actually what makes it gourmet and bigger.
High levels of musicality is the way I like to describe it. You know, it was crazy because when we had an intern, the late Aaron Michael Cox, who was our intern for the interns. We found him in college. He was the first artist that we signed. He's at Universal, and we had a big artist deal we were gonna do with him at Columbia before he passed away at 22.
Wow.
Oh, man.
But by having him sleep on our couch and by mentoring him and by showing him things, I learned so much about us by having to explain it to somebody. So in the studio, there would be times where we'll spend an hour, hour and a half on 4 bars of an intro. And I would tell him, this is why they pay us. There's a difference between the $2,500, $5,000 production fee and then the $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 production fee.
That's right.
Paying attention to the detail and adding levels of high musicality is what is our calling card and what is gonna, determine our value.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think in the creative process, the thing that's always fascinating to me about you guys is that high level of musicality is always matched by a high level of intellect.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Some places intellect isn't cool in the creative process. People feel intimidated by it and so on and so forth. But it's enlightening. It's most of the great creators that you know, certainly that I know and probably you know, all seem like really smart people to me. You know what I mean? Like they're right. Like there's.
Yeah, I'm constantly amazed at particularly rappers how intelligent they all seem to be as a bunch. I mean, they got to remember a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's just in the art form. But what I find is that as entrepreneurs, as people who hire people who change culture, and so on and so forth, it's a broader kind of calling.
For me, I got to give the credit to my mom. How I was raised. My mother is originally from Panama, and she really preached. Look, man, it was a blessing for us to get out of Panama and come to the United States to search for a better life. Your education is a big deal to me. I don't care what your other friends are doing, and if they're staying out, and if that shit doesn't happen in this house.
Exactly.
Excuse me, sorry.
No, you're fine. The FCC doesn't count here.
So, and then my mom came down with cancer as well. And that was her last wish, was for me to graduate college. She was like, yo, it's your sophomore year. I thought I would be here to see you graduate, but just do me that favor. You can be whatever you want. If music is in your heart, go and do music. But just for me, graduate. Do that for me. And I graduated 3 years later after my mom passed with a 4.0 on Mother's Day, and gave a speech and dedicated my degree to my mom in a packed out UIC pavilion.
Man.
And her words again, ring in my head when I'm in the studio and when I'm in life, just as far as how important it is to be educated and to research. And whether or not you go to college or not, you can still research. Early on, I became infatuated with books in general, just because I realized in college, all we're doing is paying a shit ton of money to sit in a room and read out of a book.
Right.
And then have projects and class discussions about what's in the book.
Right.
So if you read books,
you're halfway there.
You're right in it.
You're there.
You're right in it. And then
absolutely.
Don't have some of your peers get in on it and read with you and y'all discuss, because guess what? Now you you're building community. You got your own college. You're educating yourself. So I became passionate about all of that early on.
And it resulted in you being the youngest teacher at Columbia School of Music, right?
Youngest teacher at Columbia, 23, and the only alumni to do an artist in residence and a TED Talk.
And a TED Talk.
At Columbia College.
Yeah,
TED Talk's amazing.
Yeah, I was
TED
holding
Talk.
that. I was
Yeah, I
like,
love
this
that.
dude, like, we know people did a TED Talk. I'm jealous.
Let me ask you something, Co. I call him Co because we roll like
I
that.
was best friends.
He's my dad.
Yeah.
I remember when he used to be signed.
Right, but he got closer to it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, you and I are just simple math. We're still working up a trig, you know. Man, trying to be funny, I forgot my question. Oh yeah, I remember. Do you think that like I'm hearing you talk about books, and a lot of people watching might say, "Well, books aren't relevant." The internet, what it does really well is it gives you a broad surface introduction into subjects and things. But to go deeper, you have to kind of leave the internet sometimes and go to a library, go to books, or either go to a person who has the knowledge, you know. So books, I think, really are still relevant because that's the only way you can get that depth. Herb has a library that's fascinating to me. It's like every person that has become a legend in the industry he reads about, and that's why he's so successful. But anyway, there's a question in there somewhere. Do you like books?
But I think that, you know, for our audience,
Makes sense, though.
when you take He Into success, just one, the process has been about attention to detail, but without getting in the way of the music. The music rules, and feel still rules, and what happens in your head, the way you design the way you describe what Tuo does when you guys are together. You were, before we started the show, you actually took an A&R meeting with Tuo, with your own partner.
That was legendary.
Describe that.
Oh man, it was incredible, you know, because I don't know. I think I'm more proud and happy for his senior vice president position at Def Jam than he is for himself.
When I talked to him about it, it's like, hey, you know.
Yeah, he's like, well, whatever, you know,
whatever.
he's focused, he's working.
Yeah.
But for me, I can't believe it.
Right.
You know, like in Chicago, just to give you some history, right, about with that brotherhood. Like shortly after my mom passed, we met each other, and he had just quit his job. He was A&R at a label. He fell out with the label. I was like a hype man, crew member at the label, not even official, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I had a house, a couple cars, and an inheritance from my mom. I moved into my house.
Oh, really?
And we were roommates in Chicago with our studio in the basement.
Wow.
And he didn't graduate from college, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I watched him still be a genius. I watched him study, you know, every time we were in a meeting with like the Barry Hankertons or Vince Herberts or Jody Gersons, how he would network, call people. He would be up in the morning on phone calls, working it all out before I'm even out the bed yet. It's just crazy. So now, to paint the picture of, man, I'm on my way in my new car, my new BMW, listening to my radio show on Apple Music, to go see my brother as the SVP at Def Jam to take an A&R meeting with him. Amazing. And knowing that I'm prepared. I've been working and I'm trying to impress my bro.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
And the meeting went incredible.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
So it's just great, man. It's like we're almost positioned as like in-house producers for Def Jam. You know, so I work on all his projects and whatever's on the label, but then at the same time, I'm still out in these streets.
Absolutely.
I'm still in these streets.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
It's a good time.
What's your dog? What do you work on?
I'm a Logic guy.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I'm a Logic guy, but I was in Atlanta and I was working with 808 Mafia, and those guys are so dope. Shout to Fuse, shout Sizzle, Southside, shout Trey Pounds, and they got me on Fruity Loops.
Oh, really?
So I got a Fruity Loops joint on my Mac, and I just been sitting there programming. We made our first couple tracks. And exactly. The boy wonder, I gotta catch up to the boy wonders of the world, who are geniuses. The drums in there. I stopped trying to fight it. Right. Early on, I was fighting it. Hit Boy had it, and so forth and so on. Now, let me tell you something. If you can't beat them, you join them.
Now when you
every time I get a some drums to mix that are like just banging. Man, what'd you use on that? Oh man, FL Studio.
Yep.
I'm like,
Right.
wow. And by the way, 11 sounds better than 12, but you didn't hear that from me. It's amazing. It's amazing. Plus, it's just for creative people. It really is.
Yeah. When it comes to like I mean, like, it spans outside of trap music, you know what I'm saying, and just hip hop.
Yeah.
But how they are able to put together ideas so fast and they hit so hard, can't compete.
Right, right. Does it
You can't
stimulate other creativity in you when you're learning something new and having access to different tools?
Oh, it's incredible.
It changes your whole...
That's my whole thing, because for me, you know, I have that spirit of procrastination comes over me, and then I just don't want to do shit.
Right.
But new sounds, one just click of a ooh.
You're like, wait, hold it.
It's done, because like now, you know, even in collabing with people, like all they need is that 4-bar loop.
Right.
Just like, give me. It could be 4 chords, it could be a quick melody line, it could be anything.
Right.
You take that loop and you put the drums and like that simpleness, boom, you 50-60% of the way home.
Right.
You know? But it just has to be a sound that's urgent and that is real ear candy to the ear, so that as soon as you hear it, you know, the Puff Daddy rule is 5-6 seconds. If it ain't grabbing me, I'm going to the next track. I'm hitting the space bar again.
Right.
So, you know, trying to create that urgency is fun.
How do you stay relevant? You've been doing this a while, and things have changed. Some of the stuff out of Atlanta's, you know, taken over the world.
Damn right.
How does a creative person stay relevant?
I'm gonna give that credit to Julie Pilot at Apple Music, Beats One. I was on the 405 sitting in traffic, having a conversation with God, saying, Lord, I know there's another level. I know I'm not at my peak. I know there's more. Enlarge my territory, God, please. And I'm saying this prayer as I'm scrolling through my contacts, looking at all the famous people that I know, trying to figure out an opportunity. I called Julie Pilot, and I'm just like talking to her. Hey, man, you know, my life is in shambles, man. I just want to come talk. She's like, oh, come see me at Apple Music. Oh, come on, come through. I had no idea she was the big dog at Apple Music. And she hit me with, you ever thought about being an on-air personality? And I said, yep.
Exactly.
I didn't even give my mind
Absolutely.
a chance to
Yes.
even,
Wait a minute. You got this inspiration from God, but yet you lied?
The story is not
Dave, you could have pulled me to the side and we could have talked about that off air.
that everywhere.
Don't you judge me in front of these people. Don't you judge me. Right. I'm sending you this emoji. You damn right. I said, yes, Julie, yes. And she brought me into the Beats One world. She introduced me to Zane Lowe.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Zane Lowe, you gotta stop me in these moments, because these are like awesome people that really care about music in a different way that I've experienced.
Right.
I've just been in the studio with the superstars of today, creating songs and getting it. I haven't been in like a real music community. You know what I mean? And I went through some training, you know. First it was like just doing voice notes on my phone. And then I came into Apple Music, started learning to work the boards. I'm like, look, if I produce records, that means I can work these boards. I don't care if I'm getting paid or not. I'm gonna come in on my off days and just practice running the show, learn the boards, and now I'm off to the races.
Wow.
And that is new life for me. I'm inspired on another level by being able to, oh, that's cool. Hey, that's like one of my first interviews.
Is that right? Oh, there you go. Oh, cool.
Burna Boy from Africa.
Do you have an opinion, and this might be an unfair question, but I kind of grew up in radio. My uncle owned a radio station in South Florida, and a big part of my childhood was radio. Do you see conflict between terrestrial radio, old school radio, and new radio, like XM satellite and then Pandora and then...
No.
And then,
I don't see conflict.
Dash radio coming along?
No. I don't see conflict, because we're in an era where there are so many different outlets, and it's, you know, it's America, free enterprise. Like, you just pick what you want to pick, you know. Am I biased to Apple Music and Beats One? You damn straight, because they figured it out. We figured it out, you know, and we're still figuring it out. But it's about community building, and that's one thing that Zane said that really stuck with me. You know what I mean? Because I picked this brand. I hadn't interviewed anybody or anything like that. I didn't know so much.
Right.
But being able to have a place where we can really like show music off to the world. When I'm speaking on Apple Music, I'm live in over 100 countries.
Exactly.
So I get off air and get a DM from somebody in Denmark saying thank you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I'm experiencing music on a global level, and it's incredible. It's incredible.
No, I think that kind of stimulation, particularly in the early years for us, was you just go, whoa, people are listening and they're watching and they're reading. It makes you responsible, and it's all over the planet, and it's just that simple. The other part is that radio, or whatever broadcasting component you have, has an engineering component to it. Somebody has to run the board. Oftentimes it's the talent themselves. If you're lucky, you have somebody else doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a craft and a skill to that. There's timing to it. There's stuff. There's a rhythm with an engineer, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. And it's crazy. There's a guy there by the name of Chad that was training me when I first got there. And there would be certain things that I would do, and I'd be like, oh, man, I might have messed that up. And he was like, no.
Right.
Nobody else does that here.
Right.
And I'd be like, really?
Right.
And another thing that Zane said to me, he was like, you walking out of the studio and straight onto the airways is the best thing that you could do. Because I'm not looking for just traditional radio jock guy. Nah, I'm interested in you, in your opinion, and how you feel.
Right.
So yeah, it's just been
Is
a
Kevin
crazy.
still over there?
Kevin, the engineer?
Yeah.
You know Kevin?
Gave Kevin his first job here.
Oh, wow.
And,
yes,
he went from
man.
YouTube to there.
It's like an all-star cast. It's like
amazing.
an all-star cast of just like everybody at every position is the best, and it's just a great place to work. I could talk about Apple Music.
No,
and all day.
what's fascinating about it, I think, for our audience and is that you can be fully engaged musically, fully engaged as an engineer or as a producer, as a songwriter, and be doing other things, and they all enhance each other. To me, we all share this passion about education. We know our boys have some plans in the future. 50 under nothing.
Shout Rance. Rance
serious
was good. Farmer was good.
Woo,
Whole
serious
squad.
plans. Serious plans. And the idea that I see and all you guys make incredible music, that one enhances the other. It doesn't take away from each other. Like that stimulation comes out in inspired music, or inspired engineering, or inspired. Who mixes your guys' right? Oh, so go ahead. You're gonna make a point.
Dave. Of course, Dave Pensado. Of course, he was one of the first. He mixed my Melanie Fiona record.
Oh,
Dave,
man.
let me tell you how Dave messed me up real quick before. When I first got to Dave,
let's do that.
And I was so excited. It was like he was, ready to talk. I was like, wait, no. Before we do anything, sir, like I have questions. You are you, sir.
Right.
And I was asking him all these questions, me and this annoying ass kid. And Dave was like, you really want to know why I'm so good? You really want to know why I'm so good?
Oh, God.
He said, because I listen to you guys. And I was like, oh, he's so classy. He's so classy, man. He's so. But I knew what he meant by that too, though. As a creative, you know what I mean? Like really being able to translate what a producer's vision is in their mind. Because at this point now in my career, I'm a really good mixed engineer.
Right.
But when I first got here from Chicago, I didn't fucking have a clue.
Right.
I had great ideas. I didn't have a clue.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Define really good.
Really good, like not as good as Jason. You know what I'm saying?
But right up underneath.
But like
right.
Unless you've had like an awesome mentor, I might be able to kick your ass in the mix. But if you spend some time with Dave for real, then I'll be quiet.
Just clarifying.
Well, I mean, you make an interesting point because I used to tell Dave
Thanks
back
for
in
the
the day
compliment.
that he really would end up finishing production.
Yep.
Like people would give it to him. I know in the stuff I bring over, I'd be like, you feel this and go on and make the changes. It's okay with the act that you feel. Dave would adjust drums and all kinds of things, simple things that would just make them so correct for the radio. And the worst thing that could have happened for those records if somebody interjected and got in the way of letting him see what made it commercial. You know what I mean? And once I realized that, I was like, oh, okay. And then it became comfortable for the artist. So, all of our belief and your evidence of it is that the skill set that you guys have leads to all this other stuff. I mean, you are, this Applebee's music thing is a part of your personality. Then you've got obviously the records that you make and the music that you make and the instrumentation that you play and the business of your business that you're thinking about. And then I hear that there is some creative stuff going on that you are, there's a birth about to happen. From what I understand. And what would that be?
It's time for that Cosine album.
Ooh, not you, solo act?
It's me and my super friends.
Oh, okay.
The cool thing about being in this business for a while is that it has afforded me the opportunity to make some super friends.
Absolutely.
You know, and some of them you've heard of and some of them you haven't.
Right.
And I think that this album could be a cool discovery place as well. Where
go ahead, sorry.
Well, just where like if there's a new artist, you know, and they don't have a record deal yet or they don't have super friends yet, you know, that's where a Cosine album, you know, produced by the Internz
that's really cool.
can come in and just bridge the gap and be this body of work that tells the story, of course, of, you know, different things that I've been through and my partner as well, but high levels of musicality.
And when you were talking about it earlier, one of the things that struck me that, because you have a way of honoring the past and interpreting it currently and telling a story on an album and having an album have a narrative is a thing we grew up on. You know what I mean? And that's why you could put that boy on and just flip it and just roll the whole thing.
Yeah.
Incredible narratives.
You do.
As.
We gotta get Big Sean on the show.
I'm telling you.
We gotta get Big Sean on the show so Dave and Sean can have
just do
an
the
ass off.
They can have an ass off.
You know what's gonna happen.
Freestyle.
You know it's gonna happen.
Wait, but you know, you gotta get into 2017, 2018. We have a new song with a new artist, newly signed to Def Jam, Trap Beckham, a song called Lil Booties Matter.
Ooh.
From the producers that brought you Ass, and Rihanna's KKK.
Right.
Now there's Trap Beckham, Lil Booties Matter.
We got to, you all have the ass franchise. For sure.
What do you want from us, guys? This is what we do.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
How soon is the album? Reasonably soon? You're gonna figure that out.
Top of the year.
Okay.
Top of the year.
Okay.
Top of the year.
Cool.
I want to continue to travel. I've been doing some traveling. Like I said, I just got back from Atlanta.
Yeah.
We're gonna head down to Miami and rock out with Puff and do the Revolt conference again.
Nice.
Speak. We're gonna head over to London and move around. Shout out to Julie Adenuga over at Apple Music. We're gonna just, the talent over there, the Stormzy's, the Daves, Skepta's. There's so much talent over there that I can't put out this album without going to do at least 7 to 10 days and moving around in London and spending some time there. Just like how I spent that time, I'm going around and just collecting. You know what I mean? Collecting pieces and catching that vibe.
Yeah.
Swiss told me early and told, you know, too, we were in the studio, we were just like, yo, Swiss, you've been around for a long time, bro.
Right.
Like, how are you still relevant? Like, how?
Right.
And he was like, you just gotta travel.
Right.
You have to travel. So I'm notorious for being at the bar with a drink and my voice memo out and just vibing out of town. I'm sitting there listening to DJ, I'm freestyling, I'm having a sip. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing.
Oh, I love it.
Let me ask you something. It seems like throughout the history of the music that we love, you and I and Herb, one of the colleges that you would graduate from to become popular was a DJ, DJ, and I think because you listened to so much music, you saw how it reacted with your audience. That gave those guys a head start, and just about everybody we like was a DJ at some point. But now you're a radio DJ, and I'm guessing, like, Herb and I are always amazed at how much we've learned from the guest that Herb calls it sits to his left. Is being a radio DJ and listening to all those songs like one after another, is that helping you in terms of the relevancy thing?
It's a cheat code. It's literally the cheat code because
it sinks in, doesn't it?
Yeah, now, you know, again, like one of the shows that I host on Apple Music is called Live from LA, which is just basically putting you on all the hottest new music available in all of Apple Music across the genres. You know what I mean? So I can sit there and it's crazy because as a college professor at 23, I was teaching my students to analyze songs. We would do mock track exercises, which means that when a song comes on, how long is the intro? How many instruments are in the intro? When the verse comes on, are there backgrounds? Like, it just makes you analyze songs. So now you can like look at songs and you can kind of jump into the wave of the trends. You're able to find the trends. You play 10 songs in a row and realize all of them have a vocal sample in them. Everything samples with some type of manipulation of a vocal sample.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you realize, oh, okay, then 808s, the bending is certain. It's just so many different things that you pick up on that by the time I get to the studio, I have all of these things that I'm crossing in my, it's cheat code shit.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's cheat code.
What a source. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's new.
Exactly. And it's
new.
always changing.
New artists.
And it's global. Really amazing. Chungwar, you got a couple questions from the corner office?
Always.
What do you got? He said always.
I know.
Chungor.
This first was with Jordan Pollock. With your finance background, what money management advice would you give to a producer who gets their first big check? What should they do?
Wait, who has a finance background?
I don't know.
Because I definitely have an MC Hammer spirit. And so the finance advice that I'm going to give, you know what I'm saying?
To not follow my financial advice.
Jesus, man, this outfit is an investment of some sort. What do you mean?
Right.
If I had to just say, the thing about it is that the big money in music is not consistent.
Right.
You have moments, you have moments where there's gonna be a spike. Don't ever think that spike, it was like you musically robbed the bank. Because people sometimes forget that it's really hard to make money making music.
Woo!
That's a whole other thing for people to pay you a lot of money to do music. That's like such a small thing. So when that happens, especially when I first started, I felt guilty when I first started making money from music, actually spending the money on things outside of music, because I knew I didn't have my studio together. Every time I sold a beat, it was to get the MPC, it was to get an expansion pack for some sounds, it was to get another keyboard, it was to get the foot pedal that I wanted with the, so I would say until you're in a comfortable space of creativity, take all your money and just continue to invest in yourself and build yourself out.
Give us another one.
That's amazing. So actually, this question's for myself. So.
And what's your name again? No.
It doesn't matter. So what aspect of being an on-air radio host took the most time for you to really learn and get comfortable with?
Hearing my voice and just to get over the nerves. When they say something like, yo, when you press this button, you're live in over 100 countries.
Yep.
And you put those Beats by Dre's on and you hear yourself running through all this expense and you sound crispy. You don't even sound like yourself.
Yep.
You sound like a sexy ass version of yourself. You never even heard that person. That shit was scary. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the best description I have
you
heard
know that
ever.
Oh yeah, Apple
Exactly.
Music. I'm like, oh.
Who's that dude?
Who's he?
Exactly.
So yeah, just getting over the nerves and just being comfortable. One thing that we talk about at Apple is for it to be like, conversational, man. When I'm on air and you're listening to me, I want you to feel like you're just talking to your homie, like your homie's in the car trying to put you on your song. So just being comfortable was the hard part.
And you know what? It's funny you said that, because in our little radio station, the first time I put on headphones and was speaking to I reacted to myself like it's weird, because we don't do that here. But the other part that's interesting is that you learn, which I didn't have that skill, we certainly did in the beginning, to do it on call. Button hits, go.
Go.
And you
go.
You gotta go.
Go.
And then once you kind of get over that fear, you can impulse it. All right, young sire, you have an erudite, tech talk giving, teacher 4.0, super producer, Apple Beats music dude. So your batter's box is gonna, I want to be called that.
I was like, whoa, who's that guy?
All right, so you got a batter's box?
No.
Okay, cool. Moving on.
Who would after that?
I just gotta do it.
All right, you ready?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Okay.
Put my baseball gloves on.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Condoms.
Wow.
No.
Magnum.
Okay. Hey, man. It's public service. Kick drums.
Kick drums.
One word, quick.
What's your word?
Punch.
Okay.
Punchy.
Hi-hats.
Too much sometimes.
Trap music.
The shit.
Piano. Not the shit.
100% necessary.
Bass.
The soul of the track.
Strings.
Icing on the cake.
808.
Oh, man. My wife.
I get that.
Okay, we gotta come back to that.
Maybe that wasn't that good. I thought it sounded poetic in my brain.
It's good. You just reacted to Dave's reaction. Dave was like, what? Gotta go back to that.
Why? That threw me off, man. He did that on purpose.
Yeah, well, he's
I was
good.
trying to throw him a curve with.
He gives TED Talks.
Hey.
Okay. At your studio. No, let's save that.
Okay.
2-0.
2. Phil Jackson.
Wow. Okay, if your studio caught fire, nope, you can't rescue a hard drive, you can't rescue a pet, your girlfriend, or anything. What one piece of gear would you rescue?
Probably can't carry the SSL, huh?
No, we'll count that.
Carry it. No, it wouldn't be the SSL.
Although we have an SSL rep in the audience.
I know, that's true.
It's good that you considered it.
Yeah, I thought about it for sure.
So you let the SSL burn, what would you capture?
I think I would take the AKG C414 mic.
Ooh.
I think I would take that. Because it's been on a lot of records.
Pretty good.
I was just
I'll
looking
take
at
the
his, he's been working out. You'd think he'd get something heavy.
My first instinct, I tried to pick up the SSL,
It was
and
just
then
too
the
heavy.
smoke was. This is gonna be too much. I'm not gonna make it.
You wouldn't get
Ran
out
in and
alive.
grabbed the mic and got out of there.
That's good. You still haven't lost your touch.
I would take
Good job.
I would take the Universal Audio 6176 as well to go with it if I could grab them both together.
Gotcha.
Because
Yeah.
they're like a couple where I'm at.
What plugins do you like?
Plugs, of course the Wave Bundle. I love Nomad Factory. I'm really into Arturia right now. And those old like synths. I love Omnisphere 2. I love Nexus 2. I love Trillion.
What was the last sample pack you bought?
2. One was from Sound Oracle. 3. Sound Oracle, Ill Mind, and shit, what was that last one? Oh, S1. S1, Sound Oracle, and Ill Mind. Those are 3 of the like illest, like legit producers who have done like some sample packs. And that's something that we're working on too right now. I'm just trying to make sure that when my sample pack drops,
It's the bomb.
cheat codes.
Gotta be. She gotta be.
Absolutely. And we might be able to help there. All right, because time is short, I'll put you on the spot before we leave.
Okay.
Dave and I had this conversation, and we think, along with Chris Lord-Alge and Samantha Maloney, we would love for you to be a co-host of the Pensado Awards 4. Is that a possibility?
You trying to make me cry, Herb?
I do all the time. So
Trying to make me cry, dog.
I do that all the time.
Trying to make me cry, dog. What did you just say? I would be honored. I would be honored.
It just really elevate our show, man. We'd be honored too.
Man.
Thank you.
We talk all the time. We've created this relationship. I am such an admirer.
Likewise.
Such an admirer.
Likewise.
Watching your star ascend, and but watching your star ascend, and there's some places where we're crossing the lines and we're going to do some stuff together. is just amazing. And I will tell you that while you get inspiration from us, we get just as much inspiration from you, man. I'm like, oh no, we older. I would keep up my own way.
Man.
So please keep going.
It's crazy because when I was young and I was just like a young little shit, like the 20s when I was a young shit,
Right.
you don't really appreciate wisdom and like big homies and mentorship like you do when you get out of the 20s, if you're lucky enough to get out of the 20s.
Right.
And then you kind of get into that troubled water and you have to reinvent, and then you're able to see guys that have been in the business 20, 30, 40 years that are older than you and are still in the business, still looking good, looking like new money, looking like success. And the admiration just, I can't say it enough. So I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate this show. You know, like you said, like this show is real curriculum, you know, for those who can't afford college, but have YouTube. This is life. This is life for them, you know? So I appreciate you guys, and I thank you so much for having me, man, for real.
Take us home, Dave.
I'm gonna shoot for the stars on this one. Stay with me, because I think there's a good point here somewhere. I was watching a documentary recently about a certain musician, which the musician itself isn't important. This musician had such a strong, I don't know. He just when he played something, it just tore your head off or went to your heart. Right. And for the sake of this very lengthy closing, let's call that his print. And I've noticed recently that all of us have a print, and that print we're seeing really exemplified by Cosine here. You know his music sounds the way he is, and he gets that print into everything he does. Well, Dave, what about a quiet, kind of insecure person? Well, that's on the outside, but on the inside, you've got that print. Michael had that print on the inside. If you sat in a room with Michael like we all did, you'd say, man, that guy's not the greatest. And then you see him on stage, and where does that come from? It comes from within. So find that print inside you and get that to come through your music and give it distinction and a reason to exist with all the other music out there, and you'll succeed. I promise.
Ooh, that was brilliant. See ya.